okay? If the customer says, I don't want you to come and give me an estimate to fix the meter, then to the water department, it becomes cost prohibitive for us to force somebody to have their meter fixed and then force that bill upon them. Okay? So we have a couple people in that instance. I can tell you there's somebody that lived on Mountain View who for 9 months, their meter didn't work. And then the month they got packed up and moved out, miraculously their meter started reading again. Okay?
Oh, I can answer that. When she left and the house sold, he was sold a new meter to put in. Speaking of my neighbor Jason.
Sold.
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 Sold
And
what?
therefore he paid.
We haven't sold him a meter.
Yeah, we,
No, he was told he had to pay $80 for a meter when he moved in, and he.
I don't have any idea who would have told him that. That didn't come from us. We didn't bill him and we
You
didn't
weren't
provide
the
him with a meter.
commissioners. You weren't the commissioners when he took ownership of that
There-
house.
Yeah.
Do you see a trend
We've been the
forming here?
commissioners for over a year and that was done in the last few months.
you see a trend?
He hasn't, the property has, Jason's been there over 2 years, two winters.
Okay, the meter just started working again like 3 months ago.
We're talking
I'm
about
gonna ask
semantics
him
here.
to do that to my meter, because
I don't want to talk about individual things, okay? Paula, you had a question.
I do have to say, I don't know if I should say this, but my meter, my water bill used to be $92 to $98. Now I'm lucky if it even touches $80. So I appreciate my water bill being down, and I'm going from 4 people to 3 people to 2 people.
You may have had a leak, you could have been, there's been work done up there, so. it
Yeah,
could
I
have
don't know, but I just know
You know,
my-
we have somebody right now that their monthly bill is running about $120. They know they have a leak.
Yeah.
They keep taping up the leak where it's leaking. We've offered, the water department has actually offered to pay their bill and offset, because with regard to conservation and water leaking on somebody's floor and black mold and a variety of other things, the water department has offered to send somebody in there, fix it, and because they're just, we don't want to do this, we can't afford it ourselves, and so their bill continues to be billed at the leak rate, but they accept the responsibility of that because you folks have offered everything that we can possibly offer to repair that situation, and they've said
So
no.
what happens if I have a leak? It's called a dirty water, and the water just keeps going out and coming back in, going out and coming back in.
Okay,
That's a
so
problem.
here's a nomenclature
On the
that
water
people.
bill side.
The nomenclature that people think is that when they have a low meter reading
Yeah.
for the month, they must have a leak. And it's exactly the opposite. Okay, if you have a leak in your house, so inside the foundation, past the meter, paddle meter, if you've got high usage, you've got a toilet or something like that that's running. Okay, a chain is dropped into the tank or something like that. The first thing we tell everybody is go and lift the lid off and check and see if you got a chain in there or something. That will consume 3,000 or 4,000 gallons of water a month, believe it or not.
I just filled the pool this month.
So,
I'll be paying it soon.
so when we initially started, the company that we were working with was saying, let's go look at all your high-use meters. And by looking at all your high-use meters, we'll be able to tell who potentially has a leak. And I said, thanks very much. That's not the way it works. You guys stick to the software, we'll stick to the water usage, because that's not the way it works.
Right.
Okay? You look for the people who have uncharacteristically low usage and who have a big patch of green grass in the front yard and they've got a leak. Okay? It's not somebody who's spun up
So
12,000
The water
gallons.
didn't go through the meter.
The water doesn't go through the meter past the foundation. You got a leak from the curb stop into the house.
Yeah.
If it's outside the curb stop and it's in the system somewhere, we're gonna find it, because we watch the monthly
Yep.
usage out of the pump house. And when we see 74 million gallons in a month, and then we see the next month is 82 million gallons, and then you got 122 million gallons the following month,
Something's wrong.
we know we've got a leak that started and progressed.
I think it was 2021 or 22, Newchester Road. Several spots on Newchester Road had bad
Right.
water leaks.
By the time that service line from the church had bubbled up through the pavement,
Yeah,
that had been leaking for 6 or 8 months. And we lost all that water. But until it bubbles up to the surface, right, and again, yeah, treated water is an excellent point. Until it bubbles to the surface, you know, we can't tell. Now, you guys know that where the line crosses underneath Route 3, at the hydrant on Route 3, and goes underneath, right, and goes in the brook,
The end of Newchester.
it was
Yeah,
I
laid,
mean, we're the end of Crescent.
it was laid in the bed of the brook.
yeah.
Now, if there's a water leak in that brook, how are you gonna find it?
And then I'm gonna fix it.
So we pay attention to how much usage there is coming out of the pump house. Now, let me get back to some, these are all great and important things, but let me get back to another important issue that we have right now, okay? We have 2 pumps in the pump house. We have one pump that's pumping at approximately 60 to 65 pounds PSI. And we've got another one that's set for 50 to 55 PSI, okay? We have a ground fault indicator that trips between the two. And if there is a ground fault indicator on pump 1, it will automatically trip over to pump 2. The auto dialer sends us out a message on our cell phones, and we get a message that
Switch.
low pressure or pump reading or something like that, okay? Now, previously, all of these messages were going to our certified operator, that's Pump Systems. They would come up, and at $150 an hour, they would send somebody up, whatever time of night or day, they would send somebody up, they would flick that switch, flick it back over to the other pump, close the pump house back up, go back, and they would bill us $440 for coming up,
For 10 seconds.
okay? All it took, something as simple as this, all it took was to put our numbers first on the auto dialer, call us out, and whether it's Steve and Tony and me, we're the first ones at the pump house.
If it's that easy, fix
We
it.
can then
Done.
pick up the landline, call them up and say, okay, we're out of our element, you guys need to come up. And they come up, and then we've authorized the billing of whatever it is they need to do.
Right.
But up to that point, we were 2 or 3 times a month, that's $1,200.
So what is the problem?
Okay, so here's a multiple problem, okay? Tank on the hill. Okay? The tank on the hill is fed through the line that goes through town. There's no separate line that goes to the tank. Okay? Because the pressure is set where it is, the PSI is set where it is, the tanks, the pumps coming out of the pump house can't fill the tank more than 60% on the hill. So we got a 275,000 gallon tank on the hill that has an air gap in the top of it. And that's exposed to the air, and all of that rust that's forming on those
40% of it's a waste.
so we have that much. Now, normally that would be pressurized, but what we found out from the guys that did the tank inspection was that the hatch was never locked. So that wasn't pressurizing, okay? Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not as nimble as I used to be. I haven't jumped 20 feet off the ground and climbed the ladder up there to check and see if the hatch was closed when I became a water commissioner. So we went out and bought a new lock, had them close the hatch, and now that's locked up. The issue still remains that we can't pump more than 60% into the tank because of the pressure in the system. if we try to push the static pressure into the tank,
The only way is the PSI.
and the tank is vented, so if we try to push static pressure against the tank, we're also increasing all of that line pressure in this aging system. And all we're gonna do is blow the lines out to maintain the gravity feed tank. So we accept the fact that we're not gonna have more than 60% water in the tank. We've shared that with the fire department. We've worked out an emergency plan with the fire department. They have new equipment, they have a new tank, they have a new pressurized system. And so this is
So
all,
we talked about how it's gonna be worked with now, because you can't,
this is,
the fire department thing, I'm sure you guys all heard a big thing about that probably a year ago. There wasn't a problem. The problem is they're trained, they're certified. It was never a problem. They're certified to run a hydrant. It's common sense. These are
80.
80 years old. I mean, yeah, they were trained on state-of-the-art stuff. I bet you they can run it perfect. This isn't that. It's not. And you
So
can't
you-
operate it as such.
you have to
You're gonna
understand
break stuff.
pressure and fluid dynamics and things like that in the line. We have set the system so that we are no longer getting any more,
Water hammers.
we're no longer getting water hammers in the line. And in the instance where we have to open a hydrant and we're getting 100 gallons a minute pumped out of the